What would you say makes someone? Okay, what would you say makes someone Nigerian? And let's not use the kind of you whatever you say you are. Let's just try and be. I had this conversation with somebody else, as in the other day. I don't want to mention the artist name. I don't want to have issues in the comments. But let's just put it this way. It's long, man. I'm living a very peaceful life right now. So let's say, for instance, let's say I was born in Nigeria.
Yeah.
But I left there when I was 1, as I did, and now I've lived in the UK for 30 plus odd years. Somebody is not born in the UK, but went to Nigeria when they was 1 and has lived there all their life.
They're more Nigerian than you.
If that person said to me that, Gabriel, I've got a Nigerian passport, okay, I've been here 37 odd years, you've lived in the UK 37 odd years, I am more Nigerian than you.
You can't even argue.
Is that a valid? Would you say that? Would you say they're Nigerian? Okay, first of all, are they Nigerian? Let's say it's an English person, a white person. Is that person Nigerian? Got a Nigerian passport. This person says, I'm Nigerian. I've lived there since I was 1.
Thing is,
I'm Nigerian.
With nationality and stuff, it's very political because things can change. Like a country could completely drop off the face of the map tomorrow, and it doesn't exist anymore. So I think what I tend to hang on to is more so where your parents from, or like what their actual, like for example, like my dad's Jamaican, like he was born in Jamaica, born to Jamaican parents. He's Jamaican, so what I would be half Jamaican. With me, as opposed to the whole passport element.
So you're saying more where the parents are from than where you're born, where I'm born as an individual.
But then that's the culture element, because you can kind of like be hollow. You can be like Chiz was saying, like Nigerian by name, but not. You don't have the culture.
Let's flip it around and say this. Let's say you've got 2 Jamaican parents.
Yeah. They
go to Nigeria and then they end up having their child in Nigeria. And then that child is taken from Nigeria and goes to Jamaica. Would you say that child is Nigerian?
No, I would say they're Jamaican.
Would you say that child is Nigerian or Jamaican?
How long were they in Nigeria?
Literally went there for like a year. So they went there for a year and came straight back. So they was going to relocate there, didn't work out, went back to Jamaica. But the child was born in Nigeria. But literally would not remember anything about Nigeria because at 1, you don't remember when you was 1. Yeah, so now that child now is in Jamaica.
That child's Jamaican.
So you say that child's Nigerian?
Yeah.
But if he grew up in Nigeria, would you say he's Nigerian?
Yeah.
Yeah? Even though both his parents are Jamaican?
Yeah, he would be Nigerian Jamaican.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
okay.
That's the equivalent of us being classed as British Nigerians. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same equivalent.
So they'd be both.
Yeah,
I'd agree with
both.
Yeah. I'd agree
but if they didn't stay long enough to, you know what I mean.
But you say that if it was two Jamaican parents gone to Nigeria to try and relocate, had a baby there, left at 1, you wouldn't say that child is Nigerian.
No, they didn't stay long enough to fully assimilate into the culture. But if they were like in the culture deep, like I went to primary school. I went to a private school, and in my school you had man them were from Lebanon. You had English youths. You know what I mean? So you had people from multiple places. You had a couple of Chinese youths, and like it's mad. Like when I've been back to Nigeria and I bumped into these men in parties, and I'm like, I know you, but you know what I mean? Then my cousin is like, oh yeah, they went to, but they're more fluent in my language and everything and broken than me, and I'm like, right, you are fully Nige. You've been there all your life.
Let me throw another scenario in. So it's a true story as well. So you've got Nigerian man, you've then got a Caribbean woman. It's now time to name the child, okay? And then the Caribbean lady is saying, you know, for job prospects, etc. I don't think it's the right thing to name the first name a Nigerian name. It's better to name it a UK English name.
What do you mean?
Now,
why are you laughing?
and if you read a book called if you read a book called Freakonomics, it will tell you about the trials and tribulations of what they've researched in regards to naming your child. How important just having a name for your child is. Things like names like Bradley, you know, things like these sort of names. People in their psyche will look and be like, okay, let's give him an interview. Now, would you say it's smart to not give your child a African first name? I know African's wide, so let me just say Nigerian first name.
Living in the
like
UK,
say,
yeah?
Let's say like Babatunde.
Yeah. So
In the
living
UK.
in the UK.
Look at that
Yeah, I would.
CV and
Yeah,
it's
that's
swag,
that's a
right?
myth. You're
So would you say that? Would you
instant
say, you're,
disadvantage, isn't it?
would you say you're putting your child at a disadvantage?
That's the life of Chiz. Swag over. You saw my cousin change his name. I'm not even gonna say which cousin, but you know he's
Now,
the
my
other
thing
name.
is, would you?
He changed his name by default.
Is it now? Would you say that I'm? Would you say my ancestors are rolling in the grave if I decided to change my name by deed poll to make it more palatable?
100%. You're.
Facts.
I think you're denouncing your culture.
So is it the same thing by me saying that I'm not going to give my child a Nigerian first name because of that?
We're having Chisel the second, Chisel the third,
Chisel
Chisel squared.
What do you think? It's a true actual choice. She didn't want the first name.
I think she's right to open the discussion, but I do think that culture has to be considered.
Then don't be with me then. My thing is don't be with me.
Yeah, facts.
Growing up, so on my passport, and you got Baba Tunde. You got Baba, in fact, on the passport. Now, because I was getting picked on in school, they used to say Baba, black sheep, blah blah blah. Excuse the pun. I used my Christian name being Gabriel, which everyone knows me as, is Gabriel. Now,
When you say Christian, I never understood that. Like
so
English
basically
name,
my middle
Christian
name,
name.
like my baptism name, like my Christian name is Gabriel.
So it's part of your name. It's just
Yeah.
in the middle. Okay.
Would I give my child a Nigerian name, first name? And I'm probably going to be a hypocrite. I'd probably give it to them as a middle name, but I probably wouldn't give them a first name as one. So right now I'm going to be a hypocrite. So technically, if that, I don't want to say where she's from, but let's just say the Caribbean lady has said she doesn't want her daughter to have a first name being a Nigerian name. Let me take myself out of it. I probably wouldn't give my child a first name being a Yoruba name. Would you?
Interesting.
Would you?
So you do Chisel the third, knowing that there'd be.
Second.
Oh, sorry.
There's no first.
Sorry,
But
sorry.
another argument is this: if my surname is clearly not an English surname,
Yeah.
so the argument could be
There's no escape.
you trying to put a British first name or a European or more palatable
There's no
first
escape.
name as a first name is not going to change anything because your surname
You
is
go.
that.
If it's
No.
a middle name, you can leave it off the thing, though. You don't have to put that. Just put your
Yeah,
first
but if
name.
your surname is that,
Yeah.
then technically.
Yeah,
can't escape it.
it's the same. Yeah, it's the same.
But I guess it's just. And why should I be using the word easier for them? Figure it out, because you lot can pronounce French names, German names, but you can't pronounce a Yoruba name.
They can pronounce Schwarzenegger.
You know what? No, let me take it back. Actually,
You get me?
I'm gonna rewind back. I'm wrong, because if you can pronounce a Japanese name, you can pronounce a Turkish name, you can pronounce Nicole Swerzinger.
If you can
Why
pronounce
can't you
a
pronounce
Japanese name, you
Minachizo?
can pronounce an Igbo name easy because they sound same on
Yeah.
spellings.
If your tongue can twist to pronounce those other names, I remember my French teacher was called Miss Lazinchka. Bare Z's and Y's. You can pronounce the Z, Y's and K's, but you can't pronounce a little.
But it's not.
a
It's
little
not.
Falusha.
It's not because they can't pronounce it. That's
just
why
don't
they.
want it.
It's
they
ignorance.
just-
It's being lazy, and probably on purpose.
Yep.
It's probably on purpose. Sometimes I look at a name and I'm like, how can you not see that's for Lusho? You're like, Felushu? Is that Felushu? For? You can see it's F-O.
Bro.
You teach us to phonetically pronounce things.
People see my name and call me Chris, and sometimes I just look at it.
That's
and it's
hilarious.
Where's the R?
That's
Like, it
hilarious.
says Chiso Lifts. Chiso Lifts. Not Chris.
Chris
Not
Lifts.
Chris Lifts.
Chris Lives.
Chiso Lifts.
But then